Shalom, everybody. Wormwood. Physical and spiritual levels of corruption. And the third messenger sounded, and a great star fell from the heavens, burning like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and on the fountains of water. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. And a third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the waters, because they were made bitter. Revelation 8, 10, and 11. Physical wormwood. This can be asteroids, war, poison, disease, floods, earthquakes, radiation, crime, etc. Spiritual wormwood. This is seen in the behavior of people and is the result of ignoring or altering the instructions, Torah of Yahuwah. It is like a programming flaw or a computer virus that corrupts from the inside. The origin of this wormwood is the spiritual realm, where our enemies work through people, corrupting their hearts with strongholds, faulty thinking. Amos chapter 5 verses 7. O you who are turning right ruling to wormwood and have cast down righteousness to the earth. This describes the alteration of his words, taught by false teachers. Jeremiah chapter 9 verses 13 through 16. And Yahuwah says, because they have forsaken my Torah, which I set before them, and have not obeyed my voice, nor walked according to it, but they have walked according to their stubbornness of their own heart, and after the Baalim lords, which their fathers have taught them. Therefore, thus said Yahuwah, the Elohim of Yashriel, see, I am making this people eat wormwood, and I shall make them drink poisoned water, and I shall scatter them among the Gentiles, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, and I shall send a sword after them until I have consumed them, literal and figurative. Misinterpretations can corrupt our understanding and impact our behavior. Consider Psalms 1:3. He is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Confusing idiomatic abstractions to be literal, we mistake what Yahuwah means. Here we see that Yahuwah's words express his abstract thoughts. A person who meditates on the Torah of Yahuwah is like these things: a tree, upright, righteous one, streams of water, words of Torah, fruit equals good character and behavior, unwithered leaf, prosperity. Being held in a demonic stronghold is like a computer virus corrupting a program. We have to reprogram our thinking by renewing our minds. From Romans chapter 11 verse 33 and chapter 12 verse 2. Oh, the depths of riches and wisdom and knowledge of Elohim. How unsearchable his judgments and untraceable his ways. For who has known the mind of Yahuwah? Or has become his counselor? Or who first gave to him, and it shall be given back to him? Because of him, and through him, and to him are all, to whom be esteemed forever. Amen. I call upon you, therefore, brothers, through the compassion of Elohim, to present your bodies a living offering, set apart, well-pleasing to Elohim, your reasonable worship. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you prove what is that good and well-pleasing and perfect desire of Elohim. Teachings of Isabel, Wormwood. Revelation chapter 2 shows us the teachings of Isabel and have corrupted the assembly. She is the church, aka Circe, witchcraft, circus, causing drunkenness through false teachings held in a golden cup, Babel. This same woman is mentioned at Revelation chapter 18. To the Torah and to the witness, if they do not speak according to this word, it is because they have no daybreak. Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20. The terms bride, first fruits, lake of fire, beast, false prophet, living water, bosom of Abraham, green tree, dry tree, eye of Edel, eye of a needle, evil eye, and so on are idioms, which is why they are misunderstood and always have been by the Alexandrian culture, the Circus Fathers, the church. Isabel was a real person, but at Revelations chapter 2, her teachings are what Yahusha has against the assembly. Isabel, a witch, taught the 10 northern tribes the fertility behavior, and the Christmas tree is one of the remnants. The Yule, Celtic word for feast, at the time of the solstice, the adoption of heathen symbols of fertility and the shunning of all Yahuwah commanded for us to do. For instance, the rest on the seventh day, as Hebrews 4 calls it. It is the result of wormwood corrupting our hearts. By neglecting Sabbath, Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, Shabbaoth, Yom Teruah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot, we are left with no sign that we serve Yahuwah. Resting on Shabbat is the sign forever between Yahuwah and his people. If we are his people, we have this mark on us. If not, we are not his. I'll repeat that. If we are his people, we have this mark on us, the mark of the Sabbath. If we are not his, we do not have that mark. It's called the sign of the everlasting covenant. Exodus chapter 31:16, Ezra chapter 20, verse 20. Instead, we see Christianity inherited the day of the sun enforced by the Council of Laodicea. The circus, or the church, in 365 CE. This alteration of the word of Yahuwah in Daniel chapter 7 verse 25 is what he calls wormwood. Amos chapter 5 verses 7. And changing his words is how witchcraft, rebellion, has become institutionalized. The nations have inherited only falsehood, futility, and there is no value in them. Jeremiah chapter 16 verse 19. There is no mention in scriptures that resting on the seventh day is any kind of offense at all, but it offends the teaching authority of men. Nazarene have always rejected the teaching authority of men. Instead, we choose to obey Yahuwah. The first fruits, bride, or Nazarene, obey the commandments of Yahuwah and hold to the testimony of Yahusha. Revelations chapter 12 and 14. Bringing a detestable thing into our homes, a tree, makes us accursed. Deuteronomy chapter 7. The decorated tree is an occult object of fertility, phallus, testicles, and semen, as is the wreath, vagina. This is rebellion, witchcraft. The teaching authority of Isabel, Revelation chapter 2. Wormwood leads to madness. Definition of psychosis. Psychosis is a loss of contact with reality that usually includes false beliefs about what is taking place or who one is. Delusions. Seeing or hearing things that aren't there. Hallucinations. A person's thinking is corrupted when they follow men's teaching authorities and shun the Torah of Yahuwah. If they do not speak according to the Torah, they have no light. If they turn their ears away from hearing Torah, even their prayers is an abomination. I'll repeat that again. If they turn their ears away from the Torah, even their prayers are an abomination. Isaiah chapter 8 verses 20. Proverbs chapter 28 verse 9. Proverbs chapter 28 verse 4. Those who forsake the Torah praise the wrong. Those who guard the Torah strive with them. Are you unknowingly practicing witchcraft? Most people are beguiled by traditions and have very little contact with the words of Scripture. Using Scripture to evaluate our behavior shows us how witchcraft is employed in unsuspecting ways. Wormwood results in witchcraft. Witchcraft has been institutionalized. This hidden witchcraft rebellion is known by the Greek designation, Christianity. The proof of this rebellion will awaken millions. The best place to hide witchcraft is in plain sight. If you hear the 10 Commandments and they sound unachievable for you, you have been taught this by men, not Yahuwah. You can sense the bitterness in those who speak against trying to guard them. Yahuwah's Torah is hated and believed to have been done away or nailed to the cross. The commandments were not nailed to the tree, but rather the list of our crimes. Yahusha became crime, sin, for us, and he was nailed to the stake for our transgressions, suffering the penalty we legally deserved, death. He substituted his own life for ours. This list of our crimes, called by the chirographin, or handwriting, is a legal term. It is a list of accusations that were against us, but has been taken out of the hand of our accuser. This misinterpretation and alteration of Scripture has caused a root of bitterness to grow toward our opinion of the 10 Commandments, rather than sin. Colossians chapter 2 verse 14 has been used by our enemy to deceive us and caused us to feed on this bitterness, wormwood. The chirographin lists our sin debt. It's not the Torah of Yahuwah. Due to false teachings of the fathers, Catechetical School of Alexandria, we have inherited only falsehood, futility, and there is no value in them. Jeremiah chapter 16 verses 19. This is how the new BYNV translate the truth of Colossians 2:14. Having blotted out the certificate of debt against us by the dogmas which stood against us, and he has taken it out of the way, having nailed it to the stake. This certificate of debt is the chirographin, meaning a handwritten list of accusations. It is a legal term as used by a court prosecutor to list transgressions against an accused person. It literally means handwriting. Yahuwah's Torah is not handwriting, but it is the everlasting covenant. He has declared will endure as long as heaven and earth endure. See Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 36 and 37, and Matthew chapter 5 verses 18. Most Christians have no idea what the word Torah means. And that's true. It means instructions. God ordained. Christians are taught by men ordained by their denominations. The denominations are variations of Christianity as taught by former elders and according to their opinions. Ordination means someone is giving orders or an appointment to teach according to a specific teaching authority's line of instruction. It grants a person permission to teach within the orderly pattern of their sect. The ordained is bound and obligated to defend their method of teaching within strict boundaries. Many sects forbid their adherents to reach outside materials or associate with other denominations. In their training, they closely studied the writing of men called church fathers, who were headmasters at the Catechetical School of Alexandria. This school was founded about 190 CE by Pantaenus, Pantaenus. I'm not sure if I said that right. Although Eusebius, Eusebius, one of the headmasters in the 4th century, claims it was founded by Mark. This is quite impossible, since this school despised the Nazarene, the followers of Yahusha, labeling them heretics for guarding the commandments as written and for possessing Hebrew writings. Ephanius described the Nazarene, the revision of history is nothing new. Revising, altering anything is a kind of wormwood, since the motive for doing so would have to be because the truth is a bitter pill to swallow for those who hold tightly to men's traditions. Exposure to the truth, the light, is abhorrent to interlopers posing as messengers of light. What is the end of the entire matter? Let us hear the conclusion of the entire matter. Fear Elohim and guard his commands. For this applies to all mankind. For Elohim shall bring every work into right ruling, including all that is hidden, whether good or evil. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verses 13 and 14. If you learn a custom or ritual originates from pagan behavior, stay away from it. Walk as Yahusha walked, and stay in his will at all times. He is always beside you to call on for help and strength to discern. You will hear him say, "This is the way, walk in it." This is Wormwood, everybody. Shalom.